Good morning to whoever who's ever watching. I'm eating some chips right now. Drinking some water. So if y'all didn't know, I do school from home. I do online school. Um, I'll just get it first. About a 13 or 14. Put it. And mm-hmm. Let me go. Well, I knew. Look, I was supposed to go in for um, my OT math test. I was supposed to go in school today, but I didn't get enough sleep. I just was so tired. And then I'm be standing outside too because they open the door and they're like, I have to do that by 8. They open the doors is really late. Right. Mm-hmm. Inshallah. Let me take that back before I eat them. Mm-hmm. That was good. So that's my stuff for this. Because I know this is the one that you do this with. I packed for Christmas last year. Buttered myself up. Mm-hmm. Mirror and the lights and stuff behind the mirror. That's the mirror in the box. So weird. My uncle supposed to be fixing it to mama Wednesday. I'm gonna ask one of my teachers if I come in tomorrow. No, Thursday. If I can come in Thursday, she'll be taking it. So, what we got? Yeah, we got the wash bags. Very cutesy, very cutesy. We have two brush cards right here. I'm just playing. Yeah, like, you know, we're gonna blend them in with a little, with these, and here, mega brushes. We got small, slim, short, tall. Lord, every kind of makeup brush there is. Oh my Lord, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you God for blessing me with this, Lord. This one nice. This one even. Yeah, it's me about too. 8 days until my winter break. Oh, okay. It say OSC for our retake. OSC algebra 1. Come on. Come on. Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's December through the 12th, 9th through the 12th. So 12th is Friday. Yeah, I can go Thursday. Jumping at the next stop, drop, road. So this whole week is tested. Yeah. Gotta come in 1 day this week. If I get more sleep, if I get a lot of sleep, I'm gonna go. If I get, no, I'm going. I'm gonna get a lot of sleep. And I'm gonna go in this field tomorrow. Okay. Got the big brush. Oh, sugar. Sugar. Like I'm not eating. Billy. 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 Hat. Okay. Yeah. All the cleaning brushes, they got it. All the cleaning brushes. Plastic brushes for my eyebrows. All that, yo. They got it out. They got it all for you. Yeah. This is a 55-piece set altogether. Thank you, Lord. Y'all know what I mean? There. Whenever, listen, let me just give y'all a heads up. When y'all ordering something on Shein and it say it say green like quick ship and you would think it's here and it's here faster than the other packages. If the delivery, if the carrier says go for express, you're not gonna get it. You're gonna get it in 10 days instead of like 4 or 3 when it said quick ship. Cause this said quick ship. And you know when I got this? You know when I got this? 10 days later after I bought it, it just said 10 days ago when I purchased it. And it was on quick ship as well. If GoFo Express the order of your package and you're not a person that just likes to wait, I'm telling you, just find something else because GoFo, I do not like the delivery service. They suck. Like, it could at least be here in 7, but 10 days, like, you could. You could have lost that. Nothing. Should I make it? Wash my makeup. Oh, wash my makeup. Wash my makeup. Wash my makeup. Kids was trying to push me stuff. Really tired, so y'all. I'm getting a camera in my room. I'm getting another camera for the kitchen. I'm getting more than one camera for real, but what I really do need a camera for right now is my room, the kitchen. I want a camera in the dining room, but I mean, or the hallway. One of the two. I think I should put it in the hallway. But but yeah, that's three cameras. But no, and my mom want one too. So four. These Blink cameras are cheap. Well, when I got it, I had a Target gift card already on here for $10, and it was already on sale. So I got this for like $3, I think $3 or $4. The Blink camera, I think. I don't know why I'm saying this. This is the whole iPad. The Blink camera downstairs, and it captures, it captures a lot. You gotta pay like a monthly fee. It's like $3, $3. It's nothing. I mean, of course it adds up, but it's for a good cost because you're literally watching who's doing what. You know, yeah, it captures a lot. It don't like when a person in a camera, it don't move when they move, but like the view is like it's like you can see it all right here. It's a pretty big view. Like oh, it's a pretty big view. It's a oh 5%. It's a pretty big view though. I know one thing was that good. Let me tell you, my brother broke the toilet. So he said, let me tell you what he said he did. So he said, excuse me, he said he was cleaning the bathroom and he was cleaning the toilet and he was trying to flush the toilet, but the toilet wouldn't flush from the outside. So then he was like, he opened the lid. He took the lid off of the toilet. Opened the toilet, like the toilet, not the toilet, with the lid off. It was just every, it looked disgusting, but it's inside the toilet or whatever. So he said he took the lid off and tried to flush it from the inside. First of all, nobody in this house have ever done that. So why you just think you can do that? If it wasn't flushing, that means obviously something is wrong with it. You not no handyman. You don't need to be trying to go in there and fix stuff. You don't even know what you're doing. He talking about when he lifted it up, it fell inside of it and it broke the bottom part of the if the toilet is on, like if you move the seat, it broke that. Like if you move like behind the seat, and they got a you got a lid on it. I don't know what it's called, but a part chipped off of there and it was leaking and stuff. Like the floor was leaking, the toilet was leaking. Down to the floor downstairs and the dining room floor. And my problem is, first of all, like I said, you're not my man. You should have never did that. And then it's like he said, he said, he said he lifted it up. Let me tell you, that lid, everybody know a toilet lid is heavy, okay? It got a lot of weight on it. It's got a lot of weight on it. It's really heavy. So why would you try to lift it up and not try to hold it? You just try to he just try to lift it a little bit and put your hand through there. You ain't thinking about holding it or nothing. So it don't fall. Okay. Yeah. Like that just sounded so so stupid. Like what? He dumb. And yeah, he's talking about wanting trying to kick him out or whatever. Like, oh yeah, pack your stuff. So I want her to. You don't need to be here. He is really like he like he be trying to make statements or like he be trying to make points when he know he's in the wrong. He trying to make points, and all of the points he be trying to make sound so stupid. Like if you was to hear it, you probably would want to smack him and like smack some sense into him. Like what? How you just thinking like this? You is all the way wrong. You are wrong, wrong, wrong. And then when he be trying to talk to me, I say something that's right. Like yeah, I tell the truth. I'm not about to sugarcoat nothing so you can hear it, or so you can hear what you won't know, cause you gonna still have that mindset of oh no, I'm always right and my mama always wrong. Like you dumb. No, I'm not about to do that. You ain't gonna. But if I had was to do that, you gonna live your whole life thinking you right. And we just learned that in church too. Stop trying to always trust yourself. Trust God. You not always right. You're really not always right. And he most likely your line is never right. Yeah, most of the time he's not right. Most. Only time he is right is when he's catching somebody take something like sneak something. That's it. Or he catch them lying. But him, mm-mm. I wanna hear the listen like a sick girl in my channel. Look, I hate this booty chat. Like, bro, I don't wanna like touch my face, but I don't like the chat. I don't like it real. I don't like it. That's one thing I hate about my face. Like the acne is cool. I really feel like my acne is it's me. It wouldn't be Taja if she didn't have acne. And I love my acne. I don't really care. Like, but when it's these big bumps, when I'm trying to like when something a bump that don't need to be right there, yeah, that's when I got a problem. Cause why is you right there? Hello.
There are different ways you can learn this concept. So we are going to do some virtual labs. So today we are going to watch an egg puzzle. It, it will give you a lot of clarification on this new topic that we are going to learn. Okay, so again, little difficult, but some of you might find it easy. Those who have good imagination power, you can imagine the 3D models. You will find it really interesting. But even if you are like me, you can't imagine, like, you at home when my kids or my husband tells me this is how it's gonna look, still I see something like if we paint it like this is what it's gonna look. If we put something there, this is how the house is gonna look. I cannot just imagine. I have a poor imagination, but most a lot of people have good imagination. It will be easy for you. Even if you are like me, not with a good imagination, still you will be able to understand with all the technology things that we are going to use. Okay, it's called valence shell electron repulsion theory. So you will so far we have learned about different types of bonding, the molecules that are formed. In this, we are going to learn about the shapes of the molecules, how the molecules look. Okay, and we are going to use something called valence shell electron repulsion theory. I want everyone to sit up straight, pay attention. We are going to work on egg puzzles. Everyone uh, needs to you need to participate. So everyone's participation is required. Questions before I start this. So the rest of the week, this is what we are going to spend on. If you pay attention today, you will be good for the rest of the week. Okay? Questions before we start. You all good, guys? All right. Thank you for those thumbs up. I'm going to share the sound. Let me know if you cannot see or you cannot hear. Again, it's Vesper theory and molecular geometry. So geometry, all of you are familiar with, but geometry is the figures. How do the figures look like? In this video, we'll use Vesper theory. You guys can see and hear? Okay, thank you, Taja. How about the Carmen? Need to see you, Tamara. Make sure you're visible. And everyone's participation is needed. That's how you will get your points today.
Chat, yeah.
To practice identifying the major molecular geometries, including bond angles. So this is what you are going to learn. You are going to learn the names of the geometries. That will what these circles are. These are the different kinds of atoms that are joined together. When they join together, what kind of structure they form, that's what you are going to understand. So, for example, this is called linear structure. So linear, trigonal, planar, and you will be able to predict it. Okay, what kind of angles is formed between the atoms? If they are three atoms joined together, two always going to be linear, right? It cannot be bent or anything. It's going to be a straight line, two atoms. So when does the structure get into? When you have three or more atoms. So three atoms mostly like this, but three atoms can be bent too. So we will understand when does three atoms form bent. So look at this one, three atoms, one, two, three, but still it's bent. Why it is not a straight line? All those things we are going to talk about. Four atoms, five atoms, six atoms, and so on. Okay? The Vesper model is a simple yet powerful tool to predict the shape of molecules. So we'll look at the valence shell electrons. These are the electrons on the outside of the atom, and they come into. So we all know what the valence shell electrons are. The electrons which are in the outermost shell, right? Group 1 has one valence electron, 2 has two, 13 has three, and so on, that we have learned. So here, valence shell, all of you know. Electrons, all of you know. Pair. So when the electrons are in pair, then they are not single, but in two. If you see two dots, that's in pair, and repulsion. Repulsion means they are trying to get away from each other. So how the valence, those valence shells, they form the different types of molecular structures. That's what we will understand it here.
General in pairs. Since electrons are negative and they're on the outside of the atom, each atom has a cloud around it, and that cloud will repel other atoms when they come close together.
Right? You know that same charges repel each other. So if there are two atoms, they are trying to come close to each other, but because of the electrons, which are negatively charged, they try to repel each other. They try to get away from each other.
For molecules.
All right, so answer this. What is Vesper theory used for? Predicting the molecular geometry of the molecule, counting valence electron in an atom. One or two. Emmanuel, awesome. Yes, correct, Emmanuel. Tamara, counting valence electrons? No. So we learned Vesper is about everyone should be Tamara correct. How about the rest of you guys? Come on, this is the easy one. And I don't want to spend too much time on it. Try. Charlie, Carmen, Taja, Makaya. Need an answer from you. Makaya, correct. Good job, Makaya. Yes.
I put it in the chat already.
Taja, correct. Yeah, Taja, correct. Yes, I just saw it. Sorry. So, those who are participating, Charlie is correct. Awesome. So, the answer is predicting the molecule, how the molecule structure will look like.
For molecules. And then we remember that we have a negative cloud of electrons around the atom.
Atoms that are added to central atoms repel because they have positively charged outer shell that causes the repulsion. They have negatively charged outer shell. Tamara, correct? Yes. Come on, guys. 1, 2, Makaya, correct. Good job. Quickly, guys, everyone. Charlie's correct. Awesome. So the answer is they have negatively charged outer shell that causes the repulsion.
We try to put them
And
close
you
to
will
each
be
other
making these
and see
molecules, guys.
if they move away and spread out to be as far away as they can be, but still bonded. And we could keep adding atoms to this. And you can see that the
So what basically these molecules do, when you add a new molecule, new atom to a molecule, they try to get away as far as possible from each other. They have to stick with each other. They have to form a molecule. They have to be sticking, but they try to adjust themselves so that they are far from each other as far as possible. So this angle keeps changing.
shape changes.
True or false, atoms attached to the central atom want to be as far apart from each other as possible, even as new atoms are added. Is it true or false? 1, 2. Correct, Tamara. Taja, correct. Yes. Few more answers, guys. Come on. That's how you're going to learn. Makaya, correct. Yes. So the correct answer is true. They want to be far away from each other.
Now that we have an idea about Vespra, let's put it to work and go through each of the major molecular shapes.
So these are the major ones. You are going to learn more about these ones. You will be forming them using a simulation. You will be forming it on your own also. So look at this one. When you have
We use our chart here to help us organize our ideas and build our memory as we learn. It's often assumed that you'll...
the chart that you saw, we are going to talk about that chart as we go along.
Know that if we have two atoms, it's going to be linear.
Right? Linear. Linear means straight line, correct? So when there are two atoms, there is no way, even if they try to get far away from each other, it's still going to be a straight line.
What you should know, though, it really doesn't matter if we have single bonds, double bonds, or triple bonds. It's still going to have a linear molecular geometry. And that goes for all of the structures we'll look at today. The type of bond, single, double, triple, doesn't influence the molecular geometry. Back to our chart.
Okay, if there are only two atoms in the bond, what must the molecular geometry of the molecule be? Straight, linear, or bent? What is the like correct word that you should be using? Is it straight, linear, or bent? Tamara, correct. Yes. Taja, awesome. So we do not call it straight. I can see that you guys are answering correctly. You are using the correct word, linear. So Makaya, correct. Taja, correct. Good job, guys. So instead of saying straight, when we are talking about the molecular geometry, do not use the word straight, but linear. So this is how a linear will look like.
To our chart, it's organized by steric number and by the number of lone pair electrons. The steric number is the number of things attached to that central atom. That can be atoms, or it can be lone pair electrons, also called unbonded electron pairs.
So do you see that? What is steric number here they are talking about is the central atom. This is the purple central atom. How many atoms are bonded to it? So if there are two are bonded to it, the steric number is 2. In this one, you can see the central atom. There are 3 atoms are bonded, so this is 3. Also, look at these 2 dots, and they are shown with a kind of balloon around it. This shows the they are talking about here electron pairs. So these are these 2 small dots. They come in pairs and they are electrons. So they are called electron pairs. They are the ones they try to occupy the most of the space. So if in a molecule the electron pair is there, how it's gonna affect the geometry of the molecule, we are going to learn that. So what are the 2 things that are going to be attached to the molecule, to the atom, the central atom? It's going to be other atoms or electron pair. Now we are not going to consider the bonding, the single bond, double bond, or triple bond. Irrespective of the type of bonds they have, the molecular geometry is not dependent on the number of bonds it has. What the geometry depends on, the number of atoms and the electron pairs. Okay? So you can see an electron pair here. In this one, this molecule has 2 electron pairs. The term steric number refers to, so the steric number 2, 3, 4, it refers to the number of things attached to the center atom, the numbers of bonds only, the number of lone pairs only, the value of the angle of each molecule. 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, Tamara, thank you. Mathaya, okay. Look at this number here. Okay, Tamara. Thank you guys, those who are participating. So what is the steric number? It's the number of things attached to the central atom. Correct, Mathaya? Yes, Mathaya, yes. To the Tamara, yes. Because it's these ones. This, what are the things? Things could be the atoms or the things could be the lone pair, depending on. So it could be any one of those 2 things or both the things.
We use the steric number along with the number of lone pairs to figure out the molecular geometry of the molecule.
True or false, double bond determines the molecular geometry. Does the molecular geometry depend on the type of the bond, uh, type of the bond, like single, double? Does it depend on that? True or false? True and false is lone pairs of electron and the bond type determines the molecular geometry. Steric number and the lone pair of electron determines the molecular geometry. Third, yeah. So Makaya correct, Charlie is correct. Is the only the steric number, the bonds that are attached, and the lone pairs. So 3 is the correct answer. It's a false statement because the type of bond doesn't determine the Tamara correct.
When we have a steric number of 2 with no lone pairs, that means there's 2 atoms attached to the central atom and there are no lone pairs. We have a linear molecular geometry. CO2 is a good example. We'll start with the Lewis structure, and you can see that central carbon atom, there are no lone pairs. We can see there's 2 oxygen atoms, and we're not concerned about the lone pairs on the oxygen atoms. We only worry about the central atom.
So when we are talking about the lone pair, even though oxygen has lone pairs, but remember it's a thing that is attached. We only consider the lone pair if it is on the central atom. What is the central atom here? It's a carbon. So since it doesn't have any lone pair, it's a linear structure because oxygens are the things, it's the atoms that are attached to the carbon atom. When you considering the number of lone pair of electrons, we only consider the lone pairs on the central atom. That's correct.
So the purple, that's our central atom, and we'll add the 2 oxygens. Each one is double bonded. Here's 1 oxygen, and then when I add the other, they spread out to be as far away from each other as possible, and we have a linear geometry, and the bond angle is 180 degrees.
So do you see, this is the farthest the 2 oxygen atoms can go away from each other, and what will be the angle? It's a linear, and the angle is 180 degrees.
Next, we move to trigonal planar.
So, trigonal planar, its tri comes from 3. So, 3 atoms attached to the central atom. What kind of a structure it will be?
We have 3 atoms and no lone pairs bonded to a central atom. CF3 has a trigonal planar molecular shape. In the Lewis structure, you can see 3 atoms and no lone pairs bonded to that central boron atom.
So what is the central atom here? Boron is the central atom. And what are the other atoms, steric atoms that are joined to central atom? Are fluorine
atoms. Here we have the central atom, the boron, and then we'll add fluorine atoms. There's 1, 2, they spread out, 3, to form the trigonal planar molecular geometry. We have the bond angles of 120 degrees, and there are no lone pairs.
True or false? BF3 is trigonal planar because it has 3 bonded atoms attached to the central boron atom, and there are no lone pairs of electrons on the central atom. Is it true or false? Emmanuel correct. Good job, Emmanuel. And who else answered it? Makaya correct. Charlie's okay. Think again. Tamara correct. So, do you see any lone pairs on boron? Since there are no lone pair, that's what it is saying. There are no lone pair of electrons on the central atom. So the structure will be trigonal planar. So the answer is true.
So this is the trigonal planar molecular geometry. When we have a steric number of 3 with 2 atoms and 1 lone pair.
Now look at this. There are 3 things here. The trigonal planar was the easy one. There were 3 atoms, like real atoms attached to the central atom. So fluorine, there were 3 atoms of fluorine attached to the boron. But if you have something like this, look at this. There are 3 things attached. There are 2 atoms and 1 lone pair. Then what happens? Then it's not like, the angles are not 120 degrees. Because remember I told you the What are these? The these electron pairs, they they try to occupy more space as compared to these atoms. So they push the atoms away from them. So what this electron pair has done, it has pushed these two atoms away from it, more, like more away from it. So that's why it results in a bent structure, not in a trigonal planar. Why not a trigonal planar? Because the angles are not going to be equal in this case. The angle between from from here to here, we are gonna see how much the angle is gonna form.
We have a bent molecular geometry.
For a bent molecular geometry, we have a steric number of 3. What makes up the steric number third? The 3 bonded atoms, 2 bonded atoms, 1 lone pair, 1 bonded atom, and 2 lone pair. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Emmanuel, correct. Good job. Yes. You can see there, 2 bonded atoms, 1 electron pair. Tamara, correct. Yes. So the correct answer is? Correct answer is 2. For the bent, the 3 steric numbers will be 2 atoms and 1 lone pair.
Lone pairs, sometimes called non-bonding electron pairs, are extremely important and influence the shape of molecules. Let's look at SO2. We have our 2 atoms bonded to that
So do you see the SO2? S is the central atom, and oxygen, 2 oxygens are the 2 steric elements. What do you see at the top of sulfur? 2 dots are there. What those 2 dots represent? They represent the electron pair. So in this atom, even though it has only, in this molecule, even though it has 2 atoms only, the structure is not going to be the linear structure. It's going to be bent. Let's see why.
Central sulfur, and then we have a lone pair. So that makes this a bent molecule. But you can't tell this by looking just at the Lewis structure. We need Vespin theory to help us visualize how these atoms are going to spread out, the 2 atoms and the lone pair will push the atoms away as well, to figure out the molecular geometry. Let's see what that looks like. We have our central sulfur atom, and we'll put 2 oxygen atoms on that. They're double bonded. And next, we'll add the lone pair. And watch what happens when we do that. The lone pair, it pushes down the 2 oxygen atoms, and now we have a bent molecular geometry. It's important to note that these lone pairs have their own orbital here, and they do occupy space, and that's what leads them to repel and push the oxygen atoms away. Before we move on, let's lock this into our minds with some practice. The first thing is, we'll draw the Lewis structures. I've done that for you to speed things along. At this point, you want to try to visualize what these structures might look like in 3 dimensions as those atoms spread out and push away from each other. Then, find the steric number, and then count all the atoms and lone pairs on the central atom. And then remember or look at...
Okay, so the first step, the steps to understand the Vesper or molecular geometry, first you draw the Lewis structure. We have learned how to do the Lewis structure in the earlier classes. Then the next step is find the steric number. What does that mean? Counting the atoms and the lone pairs. So counting the atoms and the lone pairs. For example, look at the BF3. B is the central atom, and there are 3 atoms attached to it. There is no lone pair. How about this one? Nitrogen. There are 3 bonds are there between the nitrogen atoms. There is there are no lone pairs. How about this one? The nitrogen dioxide, NO2. Nitrogen is the central atom, 2 oxygen atoms. Does it has a lone pair? Does nitrogen has a lone pair? Yes, no? You see a lone pair. The third atom here, the nitrogen. Look at this nitrogen. Do you see a lone pair? Lone pair means it's not attached to anything. Electrons that are not attached to anything. Right, guys, so here is the lone pair. We only consider the lone pair for the central atom. You don't worry about these oxygen atoms do have lone pairs, but we are not worried about them. The only lone pairs we worry about um, for the molecular geometry is the central atom.
The molecular geometry.
Okay, predict the molecular geometry of N2 based on the Lewis structure here, and then what we have learned about the molecular geometry so far. So look at this nitrogen molecule. What kind of Mara correct? Linear, bent, or trigonal planar? Makaya correct. Emmanuel correct. Very good. So easy. It's going to have a linear structure. Good job, guys.
Pause.
Predict the molecular geometry of NO2. Look at this NO2 by looking at the Lewis-Dot structure and based on what we have learned so far. Is it going to be linear, bent, or trigonal planar? Look. Makaya, correct. Tamara, did you answer it? Or did, I'm sorry if I missed. Makaya, correct. It has a lone pair. Don't forget, look at this structure. This has a lone pair on top of it, and then it has two things attached to it. And the other one is a lone pair. Makaya, correct. Guys, come on, everyone try at least. Jarlis, correct. Good job, Jarlis. Pardon? Tamara, I'm sorry.
I said I did answer.
You did answer? Okay, thank you, Tamara. How about, guys, Carmen, correct. Good job, Carmen. Emmanuel, try. What do you think is the correct answer? Emmanuel, correct. Very good. Yes. So the answer is bent. Why it's gonna be bent? Because of the lone pair. This lone pair on the nitrogen is going to push the oxygens away from it. So that will give it a bent structure. Good job.
And give
Para,
these a try.
correct.
For BF3, we have the central boron atom, and then we have three atoms attached to it with no lone pairs on that central boron. You can imagine the fluorine atoms will spread out.
What will the F atoms do in this molecule? Move as close to each other as possible, move as far away from each other as possible, with a greater distance between the left and right F atoms than between the either of the middle F atom. Move as far away from each other as possible with an equal distance from three F atoms. Tamara, correct. Try, guys. Everyone can do this. Emmanuel, very good. Yes, correct, Emmanuel. Awesome. Carmen, correct. Makaya, correct. Awesome. So the third option is correct, that fluorine atoms will move far away from each other.
Spread out to be as far away from each other as possible, and they might look something like this. Since we have a steric number of 3 and no lone pairs, that makes this trigonal planar. For N2, which doesn't even show up in our table, we only have 2 atoms, so it's going to be linear.
Why nitrogen is linear? There are only 2 atoms, so they form a straight line because triple covalent bonds are too strong to be. Carmen, correct. Yes. Very good, Carmen. Guys, come on. This is easy. Why this is going to be linear? Makaya, correct. So it's going to be linear because there are only 2 atoms, so they form a straight line. Tamara, correct.
For oh no, also called NO2 minus, we have 2 atoms attached to the central nitrogen there, and then we have a lone pair. So we have a steric number of 3, and you can imagine that those 2.
Which shape will nitrogen dioxide will have? Linear, trigonal planar, bent, tetrahedral, trigonal pyramid. I think we just did it. It has a lone pair and it has two steric numbers. Steric numbers is three, I'm sorry, but it has two atoms and one lone pair. So is it going to be one, two, three, four, five? Makaya, correct. Yes. Tamara, okay. Carmen, correct. Thank you, Tamara. Think again, Tamara. Take a second. So this is nitrogen, one lone pair and two atoms. So it could be trigonal planar or bed. But since it has a Tamara, correct. Yes. Since it has a lone pair, it's going to be the bed. So the correct answer is bed. Guys,
If
ask if
there's
you have any
two
questions.
atoms on the outside, the oxygens are going to be